Hello there!
General Kenobi!
This week we will make Sub-Zero in a bad condition.
Bruh.
So as always we need skeleton for our sculpture, this time it's dancing skeleton. After that some aluminium and voila, slap some clay on it. Okay, so the plan for this project is to create upper part of body, because I want to make Sub-Zero trapped in a Jigsaw Trap, where he is in the bathtub with filling acid. Something like in Rick and Morty, but here with real acid. I mean fake acid, but we pretend that this really happened. So actually really like in Rick and Morty. Never mind. Anyway, here I'm not going to make nice muscles of his chest, because there is going to be clothes anyway. But I want to make only sketch of muscle, so clothes will look more natural, like he's really in great shape. Speaking of clothes, let's move to this step. When I was pretty satisfied with his body, it was time to put something so he's not fully naked. And my inspiration here was of course Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat 1 remake, so it's not so complicated sculpting. I mean, clothes is tricky sculpting because it is easy to screw it up. Because in theory you have to put only piece of clay, but it's not that simple. We have to add some bending of shells, but also use so thin clay that you cannot see how thick it is, because otherwise it will create effect of some kind of armor. And here you have some recording of creating rest of clothes without focus. Just kidding, here you have it in better resolution. After that adding some belts, God knows for what, but they look cool, like John Wick wearing gun or something. So he is not naked anymore, now let's give him some expression on that cold face. My job here was actually simplified a little bit because he has a mask, and that's very good. Why? I don't have to f around with lips, cheek and other stuff. Anyway, with eyes it's also quite problematic, but somehow I made through it with one try, so I'm very happy guy because of it. And here you can see again my perfect camera position. When I notice I'm dumb and I'm not showing anything in the camera, I decided to record how I am making this ornamental mask. At the end, the easiest part of the head, and that is hairs. At least short hairs are easy because you just drop some clay, later make strips with sharp tool and voila, you have hairs. Simple as that. So we can put this Dumbo head back and start ripping off his lower part of body because he's already dead. Baking time. After baking, time to prime this guy. For this purpose I'm using of course airbrush because I'm lazy ass, and after that time to paint his clothes, where I use also airbrush because I'm still lazy ass. When clothing is done, it's time to paint, and you may be surprised why I am using here bluish grey, and answer is very simple. Sub-Zero here is already kaput, so naturally his body should lose already red tones, and also he's cold all his life. After that again time for lazy ass technique, but here I am using very diluted color of skin to not fully cover my base coat, what will help me getting effect that I described previously. After that finish the rest of his clothing, like this black shirt and metallic parts. Now let's move with hairs, and here of course I'm using brown to keep color from the game, and this part is actually not so complicated because I don't have to even blend the colors, because I am painting in the same direction with brush, what will give me texture of hair. Next step is painting his hands. I wanted here to create effect like he was trying to get out of the trap with his power, but well, as you can see it didn't work. For this purpose I'm using pure white as a base coat, and later using very diluted blue paint over it to make nice effect. And I didn't record it, but if someone is interested, I used at the end few layers of ice effect from GSW, it gives really cool effect. At the end adding some guts and of course painting it with blood red to make it more eye-catchy. Let's move on with Diorama, and here for walls I'm using lovely cardboard to create something similar from Saw 1 with tiles on the walls. Off camera I made from polymer clay some details like pipe, vent and other pieces. Now time to decorate our nice room. Now of course time for the most iconic detail for this diorama, so Billy the Puppet. And here I decided to make only head because I'm lazy. I'm having this idea where Jigsaw used only head to tell him what to do. To be honest, it was surprisingly easy to create this head. Painting again, and here of course in the beginning we have to prime it. Later I'm using light grey, but I'm not fully covering the area, so dark primer can still be visible. It will create weathered look from the beginning, and that is good. After that, painting pipes with copper metallic paint, and I have to admit I really started to like using this paint for painting pipes because it is more eye-catchy and fills up diorama really good. But don't get me wrong, I'm using also normal metallic just to have some variety. Later on, adding some weathering washes to make it more dirty. Remember, always aim for weathered look of your diorama because you can easily hide your mistakes. Now time to paint Billy the Puppet, and here of course I couldn't use different colors, so no surprises here. Final touches of painting, and it is big spiral in the middle of wall, where our Sub-Zero will be hanging, and after that oil wash, which will give us last important touch of weathered look. So now we have to pour inside some fake acid. It is lime resin pigment mixed with UV resin and later hardened with UV torch. Time to cuff him and move to the best part, and it is pouring resin. After 7 days of curing, time to release him. Of course, it's just in theory, and because I was using here wood, don't ask why, it's a stupid idea, I have to sand it with machine. Now, when it's nice and shiny, it's time to prepare some lights up for it. Made from small LEDs from AliExpress, and after that frame everything with cardboard painted in metallic paint, and we can call it Super Done. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope to see you in another one. Bye bye!